All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Mastermind. Kyle here, and we are on day two of our live streaming kind of new broadcast here. So hopefully we figured out some of the kinks. I think everything went pretty well actually yesterday. So hopefully the broadcast today goes well. If you're watching us on Facebook, welcome. If you're on YouTube, welcome. And I was trying to watch the comments here on my phone, but it sounds like we're going to get a feedback if I do that. So I'll be checking the comments as we go. So guys, please feel free to contribute and put in the chat thoughts or questions, and then I will kind of loop back around and get to those. And yeah, so super exciting. Today, we're actually going to cover kind of one of the last topics as part of our training series that we've been making for the last month or so. And the topic today is going to be agent attraction on social media. So this is actually a presentation that I did at the San Antonio Maximum Experience event. I think it was quite a little while ago, probably a few months back. But I know that a lot of people weren't able to be at that event or just missed it. Or actually, I've gotten a lot of requests to see if it was recorded, which it was. But the only problem is that the slides weren't being displayed on the screen. It was just a video of me up on the stage talking. And so I think it kind of left a lot to be desired, because a lot of what we talk about is scripts and dialogues in today. And so with having the slides, you'll be able to write down or see very easily what my scripts are on social media. And so anyways, this is basically my do's and don'ts, kind of best practices, and how I utilize social media to help grow my agent attraction business. So that being said, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. Let me go ahead and pop up the slides there. All right. So there we go. So agent attraction on social media, build your list and book appointments via social media. All right. So let's start here. There we go. So first slide just talks a little bit about who I am. Again, this was something that we did here locally as a big event. But if you don't already know who I am, I'm a husband and father. In fact, today is my wife and I's 8-year anniversary, so super excited about that. And I've got 2 little kiddos, a 3-year-old, a 5-year-old. One of the first things, and this is kind of off the script here as far as, social media and all that kind of stuff. The biggest thing that I think has helped me succeed at agent attraction is that I've got a big why. I've got my family. I want to spend a ton of time with them, traveling with them, doing things with them. And I think it all starts there. Everything kind of will fall into place when you have a big enough why. Like, why are you going after and attracting agents? That will lead you into going and finding, all of the answers that you need on how to actually do it. And so what we're going to talk about today is just one piece of all of that. But I'm excited that you guys are here, and we'll keep going through. So first off, I've been in real estate since 2008. I worked for a new home builder for 5 years till 2013. At that time, I started up my own independent brokerage called Handy Realty. I did that for 4 years. And then I joined EXP in July of 2017. I've been here now over 2 years. I've personally sponsored 40 agents. I have a total organization that just hit 180 agents. I still actively sell real estate. Last year, I sold 65 transactions. And this year, I'm on track to doing about 45 to 50 or so. Did 16 million in volume last year. I'll do about 12 million in volume this year. I've been an icon agent at EXP 2 times, going for my 3rd. My hobbies include traveling, like I said, with my family, photography, love taking photos and video to kind of document the journey, and of course, put all of that stuff on social media. And then, of course, cars is kind of my thing that I've loved for a long time. You can connect with me all those different places. Obviously, you're already watching me on either YouTube or Facebook, so you know how to connect with me there. I'm also on Instagram, and I've also got my website, kylehandy.com, which I actually put a lot of training regarding agent attraction, regarding real estate sales, and just EXP Realty information on there. So be sure to check it out. So that being said, we'll go ahead and get started here. Here's kind of be an overview of what we're going to cover today. So of course, we're going to go over the do's and don'ts of social media. we're going to cover my 3-message formula, which is kind of like the scripts that I use while I'm, sending messages out on social media. And third, we're going to talk about how to create more connections on social media. All right. So the do's and don'ts. People love to buy but hate to be sold. So keep that in the back of your mind as we're kind of talking about all this stuff. You don't want to sell anybody on EXP. You really don't. They want to find the information. They want you to be helpful. But they will buy it when they're ready with the right person who's treated them well. When they're ready. But if you try and sell them, it's not going to be with you when they eventually come over. Because I strongly believe everybody is coming to EXP. They just don't know it yet. So make sure that you're not the person that, kind of gives them the bad feeling. So that way, when they do eventually join, it's not going to be with you. You want to make sure that you're just helping, assisting, being kind of that value added person in that agent's life. And so, that's what we're going to talk about a lot today with regards to social media and how you can utilize it. But first off, the do's. Make sure your profile is set up to win. There's so many people that don't take the time to completely fill out their profile and make it look good. That includes, of course, having a nice headshot in there, having your bio in there, putting any links to, websites or anything like that of yours. Just, keeping it very clean to where somebody can, easily see who you are, see you're a real person, and get a good feeling about that. So really quickly. So that's a big do. Make sure that that's all set up, and whether you're using a business profile or using a personal profile, regardless, that's the same step. And we'll talk a little bit more about the difference between using your personal versus a business profile here in a bit. But next off, you want to promote lifestyle and not business. So kind of a general rule of thumb for me is, I put about 4 to 5 posts out on average about my lifestyle, about, my wife, my kids, just life in general, thoughts about things, all that good stuff, random, posts about things that I'm trying to buy or something like that, for security systems and random stuff that I put out there that's not business related. And then I put about 1 or so posts out of every 5 that's business related. It might be, an EXP Realty post. It might be, something else, but I just try and stick to that formula to where mostly it's about lifestyle, because what ends up happening, I think the number one reason why people join EXP ends up being because they, want freedom. They want something different than what they currently have. Like, because you can sell real estate anywhere, but at EXP, they see a lot of real estate agents being set free, right? Like getting a different lifestyle. We're traveling more. We have more kind of time freedom to do things that we want to do. And if you promote that in your life, and if you display that in your life, people will want to be a part of that. If all you're talking about, is just business, or trying to sell everybody all the time on EXP and putting like, well, you need to join, because of this, and it's like some EXP pitch every single time, people don't want to be a part of that. So you're going to want to book appointments in a more professional way, and I'll show you how to book appointments and to ensure that they actually show up. And you want to pique curiosity and frame what you have as something that can help them or give them something that they really want, i.e. freedom. So those are kind of the do's on social media, how you want to use it. Here's the don'ts. And in my opinion, don't put links in your profile to things that you might give out to agents that are considering EXP. So like, for instance, if you like to send a certain webinar or send a certain, video or something like that to people, don't put those links in your profile because you want to hold those back. You want to give those to people when you know that they're ready, when, you know that it'll be to your advantage and you can kind of monitor it. Whereas if you just put them in there, you don't know, when or if people are looking into that stuff. So anyways, that's just one of the first don'ts. Don't send links in messages unless the prospect requests them and unless you really feel like there's no other way. So for instance, What I mean by that, of course, you can send them a link to, sign up for the webinar or something like that. But if you just randomly spam links out there, like without them requesting it or you having some kind of a dialogue about it, like if that was your first message to somebody and you just say, hey, check out this video of EXP Realty, big don't right there. First off, it goes against our attraction policy for EXP saying that you can't spam links. But second off, it's just not going to be effective for what you're looking to do. So don't copy paste messages when you message people. Now, when I say that, I mean just blatant copy paste where it's like the same message for everybody. You got to tailor them a little bit, right? Like put their first name in there at least, right? But then even then, try and find something off of their profile or something where you can actually make it look like this is a message to them that you've thought through, who they are. So that's another big one right there. Never share any business information in the first message. Again, that's also probably considered a spam type of a thing there too. But the first message that I always send new connections is just something like, hey, I came across your profile. You look like, you're doing really well. I love to, network and meet other great, agents and just individuals. How's everything going for you, or something like that. And you can talk business. Don't misinterpret business information in the sense of like, you can't ask them how their real estate business is going. Cause a lot of times I will do that, but I don't talk about EXP right away, right? Like I don't talk about EXP Realty information right away when I haven't talked or built up that connection with them. So, all right. Profile. So going back into the profile and talking about your best practices, how to get your profile up to speed. Make sure your face actually shows up on your social media profile picture. That's an important one, guys. So many times I see people and they've got like, a picture of their dog or their cat as like their main profile picture or just something random. Or, they use a profile picture. And I'm talking about the circle one that shows up with everything on all of your posts. Where it's like a picture of their whole family and it's so far back that you can't even see their face. Don't do that. If you want to put a picture of your family, that's great. Put it as like your the headline image behind when they actually go to your profile, they can see that up there. But for your headshot, which is that circle profile image, make sure it's something where people can recognize your face. So that's an important one. Remove your boring about me description and put be a real person on social media and make it easy for people to identify with you. First off, if you don't even have an about me description, make sure you get one. And if you already have one and it's just boring, like make it real, make it true to who you are, put in there like real things about you. And so anyways, just really use that about me description. People do read through it. So it's important that you have that as descriptive and just in your own words as possible. Get rid of salesy promotional posts. Post value or stories. Share your story without mentioning EXP Realty. Create curiosity. Have a call to action for them to reach out to you to learn more. So again, super important. Now, I'm not saying you can't ever post anything about EXP. Obviously, I post stuff about EXP. Others, that have attracted a lot of agents post a lot of stuff about EXP. But I would say that most of us, especially if you're a new agent just getting with EXP, it's like, people know when you join because instantly you start posting everything about EXP Realty. And it's just like, oh my gosh, there's another one, right? And they just think you're crazy. But if you, of course, 1 out of every 5, 1 out of every 10, whatever it ends up being for you, post like something that mentions EXP, that's fine. But, start getting in the habit of trying to also just provide value, right? Like we're all real estate agents, provide value in the real estate industry, provide your feedback on things, share your story without necessarily having to mention EXP. That kind of goes back to the lifestyle thing. Hey, I'm so excited. I've been, whatever it is, your first deal that you acquired, stock. You don't even have to say EXP stock. Just, I'm becoming an owner of a company. It's so amazing, right? Create a little curiosity and leave it at that. And so go from there. So remove negativity, sarcasm, or anything weird from your profile. So that's the one thing, guys. I know sometimes, people, if you're using social media and you want to use it for business, you got to clean it up a little bit. If you don't want to use it for business, like if you're, content just having social media and putting your views on things and like, go ahead and do that. But if you're wanting to use it for business, just realize you probably want to keep it a little bit cleaner. Don't post all of the negative stuff. People want to associate with people that are positive. There's already so much negativity out there in the world that I know when I'm trying to follow somebody, if they've got all sorts of just, negative stuff, like I don't follow them, right? Or I unfriend them after I see that. I just don't want that stuff coming across my news feed. So anyways, just another best practice there. So now we're going to get into the actual 3-message formula, which is kind of the scripts that I use as far as conversation starters and how I actually use this. And you can use this on Facebook. You could use this on LinkedIn. You could use this on Instagram. I just keep saying Facebook because that's the one that I use most often, but I'm not saying there's one platform that's better than the other. They're all kind of a little bit different and they're suited for kind of different audience and what you're looking to do. I've used all 3 of them. I've used, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And I still, use all of them from time to time, but the one that I use most often is Facebook. That's just the one that I'm most active on. So, but anyways, so here's your goals for each message. You got 3 messages, right? The first one is to strike up the conversation. That's all you want to do, right? You want to strike up a conversation. You're not trying to explain anything about EXP. You're really not even trying to, dig into like real estate or anything like that. If this is the first connection ever with somebody, you met them, maybe they're in a Facebook group or something and you want to build a connection, like just strike up a conversation, like as if you were in person with them. And what would you say to that person, right? All right. See if the agent is open. That's message number 2. And I'll give you the script on how to do that. And message number 3 is to book an appointment via the phone or Zoom. Okay. So those are your 3 messages. Disclaimer, these only work if you throw your salesperson hat out the window, be authentic, encourage you to edit these scripts, make them sound like you. Use words that you normally use. You don't have to use these verbatim. Change these up, use the language you would use. All right, so first off, message number 1, strike up the conversation. So this is with a very cold lead, like somebody you probably never met. You haven't even been friends with them on Facebook. You're literally just connecting with them for the first time. What you'd like to do, there's 3 kind of frameworks. You want to give a genuine compliment. You want to relate to the agent if you can. And you want to ask a question to initiate the conversation. Okay, so what that looks like is, I'm going to give you an example of a message I went back through in mine and used. Hey, Sarah, I saw your comment in Lab Coat Agents here on Facebook about how you use sendoutcards.com to send your past clients and sphere of influence birthday cards and gifts. I really love how you not only showed that you care for your clients, but also the real estate community by your willingness to share. It really resonated with me because I've been an agent for 11 years and really focus on my marketing efforts on my sphere of influence. So how long have you been in the business for, and what are your goals for this year, if you don't mind me asking? Super great to meet you and looking forward to hearing back. That would be an example of a message that I would send first. You obviously can tell it's not just copy pasted. Like there's a story behind why I'm reaching out to this person. They know that I've taken note in either their past posts or their profile. Like maybe I go and see if there's anything on their profile that I can see without being their friend. And then I send this to them with a friend request, right? And that's kind of how I would strike up the conversation with somebody completely cold, somebody that I had met in a Facebook group. Maybe it's just somebody that I know in San Antonio and I saw that they've got a lot of mutual friends. Whatever that ends up being, like this is kind of the framework I use to strike up that conversation. Now, here's a warm lead. This is somebody that you've already been friends with on Facebook for a while, but maybe you have not talked to them in a long time, or ever through Facebook, right? So here's what a message would look like in that scenario. Hey, Sam, what's up? I noticed we're friends here on Facebook and we haven't chatted for a while. I noticed that your profile says that you're living up in New York. Is that correct? You up in NY? Like that's how I would talk to somebody, right? That's for somebody that I haven't really built a relationship with yet. Maybe they're, we've got all these friends on Facebook that we don't really talk to. They're friends on social media, but we're not super close to them. That's something that I would say to somebody like that. I would just kind of see, if they're in my city, I'd say, hey, I see you're in San Antonio, how are things going for you? What's new, right? Like just that kind of language. If I were talking to a friend that I know a little bit more, I might ask them what's been keeping them busy these days to start the conversation. So again, just message number one, the goal is just to start the conversation. That's all it is. Now here's the thing. Don't go to this next message, message number two, until they respond back. If they don't respond back to that message, wait for a while, wait a month, wait a couple weeks, and try a different version of message number one, right? Like try it again and see if they respond at that point. Sometimes you just catch people and they haven't, checked Facebook for a while, or maybe they saw the message and they were busy and they just, cleared the notification, but then they forgot to get back to it. Try it again, but don't go to message number two until you've gotten a response back from message number one. All right, message number two. See if the agent is open. Here's where you just want to even see after this point, you've sent the conversation message. Maybe you've even conversed back and forth a few times. But now at this point, you want to actually see if they're open. So going back to that, warm lead example, I would say something like this. That's awesome, Sam. I visited New York for the first time last July and I loved it. I was actually hoping that you said you were still there because I've been looking to expand my business there. I'm doing some networking in your neck of the woods. Would you at all be open to connecting more regarding an additional income opportunity related to real estate if it didn't interfere with what you are already doing? Right? Like that's the next step, right? And use some version of that if you're in your market. You're obviously not going to say like, I'm expanding my business there. I mean, you could say like, I'm looking to grow my team here, or, I'm just looking to network and expand here in the city. Would you be open? So just use that would you be open kind of script, right? Talking about an additional income opportunity related to real estate if it didn't interfere with what you're already doing. I think that's so important. Now, some people, they're going to sniff it out right away. They're going to go to your profile and say, oh, is this about EXP? That's I'd say if I had one response that I typically get, that's the same. It's usually, that is this about EXP? And you say, well, actually it is. Have you heard about it, or what have you heard about it? Right. And just go straight into that. What have you heard about it? If you said, have you heard about it? Everybody's going to say yes, that they know everything about it. Right. Cause that's the thing is I remember Jay Kinder saying this, in Vegas is that, everybody, says that they know about EXP, but the thing is they don't know about EXP, because if they knew about EXP, they would be here. Right. And like, that's how I truly feel about it. I'm sure that, that's how you feel about it. But if you ask them, they say like, oh yeah, I know about EXP. They probably don't know the first thing about the stock. They don't know how much they get paid on their third tier. They don't know, anything, an Icon agent program. They might not even know the splits, right? All that they think they know is that we're a network marketing company, that we're, a multi-level marketing company. That's all they think they know about the company. And for them, that's enough, right, in their mind. So you got to break that down. But the only way you can do that is you see if they're even open. If at that point you say like, yes, it is, EXP, what have you heard? Oh, I'm not interested, right? Okay, no worries. They're not open at that point, right? Your job is not going to be at that point to make them be open, right? We're just trying to sort the deck. We're just trying to find out of, if you sent 52 messages, right? Like if there's a card of 50, a deck of cards of 52 cards, you're looking for the aces in that deck. There's always going to be 4 aces, right? You just don't know which card you have to turn over to get that ace. It's the same thing with this. You're not trying to make people be open. You're just trying to find the ones that already are open, right? But it takes, time to do this. Right? You got to do this with multiple people. So that's the other part of this. All right, message number 3, book the appointment. Okay. So at this point, if they just say, yeah, I am open, or if they ask for, more information about the opportunity, you don't want to start talking about it right then and there on Facebook Messenger. If they just say like, what is it? Be like, oh, that's perfect. Well, I'd love to share it with you. But let me tell you, it's a very visual kind of opportunity, and I can't explain it just through chat here. So let's book an appointment, right? And then just try and get over to this message number 3, where we talk about booking the appointment. So here's what I would say in this scenario. That's great. Shoot me a few times that you're free this week for about 15 minutes and can have access to the internet. Tuesday and Thursday are the best for me if you can make something work either of those days. Okay, let's schedule Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Here's my number so you know who's calling. What's the best number to reach you at? Make sure you get their number. Great. I've got you on my calendar for Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pop me in your phone and set a reminder. I've got a busy day that day, so I'll assume you're punctual with your appointments. And I put a little smiley face just so they know that I'm friendly. but I want them to also know that my time is valuable. I'm sure their time is valuable. I don't want them missing our appointment. This is an important appointment. Looking forward to connecting with you more. Chat Tuesday. All right. Now, here's what you do. Again, if they ask, well, what is it, right? Like, what is the opportunity? You'd say, first off, I never get into too many details ever. You lose control over the process if you deliver too much in a message. So here's what I say instead. I'd love to get into the details over chat here, but it would be like giving a haircut over chat. I wish I could, but it's impossible. I like to keep business a little more professional than a social media chat. Do you have 15 minutes to connect more this week? And so I go right back into the question. Do you have 15 minutes more? Do you have 15 minutes to connect more this week? Get back to that question. You'd be surprised, like once you kind of defer that question off one time, most people, they're not going to try and like ask it again. They'll just say, okay, yeah, I've got 15 minutes. So you just got to have that little one-time deferment, and then you can set that appointment. All right. And so anyways, so that's all the scripts that I use. And so basically, everything kind of comes back to rinse and repeat. I just use that over and over. The more times that I can do that, the more successful that I am in agent attraction social media. And so, that's kind of the one thing is it is a numbers game, but it's also a relationship game. So you got to try and create relationship and put yourself in those, kind of messaging opportunities as much as possible. Now, again, none of what I just showed was a spam thing. There's no way that you could spam that out to thousands of people, and you wouldn't want to do that, right? Like each of those things took time for me to create that, but that's how that's how it works, right? On social media. So, you just got to do that over and over and over. Whenever you have time or free time, ideally it'd be great to time block that into your week. If you could just say, hey, I'm going to dedicate, 2 hours a week to just Facebook or to just LinkedIn. I'm going to identify people. I'm going to send out those messages and just see where it goes, right? And you will see, it takes a little time, but you're going to start building relationships, building opportunities where you find people that are open, and you're going to start booking appointments. And as far as the appointment goes, a lot of times people will have the question, well, what do I do, once I get them on the phone for those 15 minutes or get them on a Zoom call for those 15 minutes, right? Well, the point there is, first off, if you don't feel comfortable with that, then use some form of like getting your sponsor, that third party kind of there to maybe help out, see if you can get them for 5 minutes. Ideally, on a 3-way call, like I say, you want them to have some kind of skin in the game already, like you want them to have watched the video. But if you're brand new and you're not even comfortable yet, like getting them to that point, bring your sponsor on the call. I'm sure they would be happy to help, at least for the first few times, to actually just, all you're going to do on that call is talk a little bit about the opportunity. You're not going to go into any details about EXP. You're just going to share your story, what you've seen others doing around you, what has happened in your life. That's what you're going to be sharing in those 15 minutes. And then you're going to invite them to the next webinar, to the next lunch and learn if you've got one in your area, to the next event, whatever it might be. But you want to do that. And if they can't, make a webinar, if they can't make the event or something like that, then last case, you'd want to do the press play strategy, which is basically, you're going to watch a video with them over Zoom. So instead of sending them the link to the video, say, hey, well, here, the model is very visual. I'd love to show you what I watched, before I joined. I think this made a big impact on my decision to come here. And instead of me trying to explain it over the phone, my story now, what's possible. Watch this video with me. It lasts about 30 minutes. I'm going to send you a Zoom link. And then basically all you do is you get on Zoom with them, right? And this doesn't have to be right at that 15-minute call. This could be set up for a day later. If they want to do it, if they've got the time to do it right there after that 15-minute call, then great. But if they don't, then you set it up for the next day or try and set it up as close to it as possible. But then you get them on Zoom, you open up the screen with, whatever video it is that you feel most comfortable with. A lot of times I use my videos that I do from the Tuesday executive overview, the recordings from it, and I'll play that for them as I sit there and watch with them. Or you can, of course, use like the Brent Gove where he's standing up. I think it's themodelexplained.com. You can use that video. But basically, you just share your screen so that way the video is on the screen that you're sharing. And you press play, you mute yourself. You're there if they've got questions. And then if you want, you can even talk to your sponsor if they haven't been on that 3-way phone call already with you and have them be on standby after the video is over if they wanted to give their testimonial. So that's kind of the whole process. I know that was a lot in this little area, but I didn't want to leave that stone unturned about what you do once you get the appointment. But I'll promise you, here's the thing. Just do this work about social media and trying to set the appointments. And like, even if you don't feel super comfortable with what you're going to do when you get them on the phone, just set appointments and you'll figure it out over time. I mean, that's honestly what you have to do. You have to be, failing a little bit. You'll get more comfortable as you do it more and more. But if you're not even setting appointments, you're never going to get good at that skill of being on the phone with them for that first time. You won't be able to make mistakes. So you won't be able to get better at that. So just, go through the motions with the social media, set appointments. I promise you, if you use these scripts, you will set appointments. If you do it enough times, and then you will get better on what you actually do on that next step. So, all right, now let's talk about how you can actually do this at scale, like how you can start to get more connections, get more opportunities to connect with people. First off, it's quality, not quantity. Again, I've already said this is not a spam thing. You don't want to just blast this out or, go to a Facebook group and start messaging, the same message to the 1,000 people in the Facebook group. You want to identify people in the Facebook group or LinkedIn group or wherever it is. Or like a lot of times I got them down here on the bottom, Instagram hashtags, it's another way that I find people. And you want to find people that are active, right? You want to find people that, are making posts in those groups. That way you can use that post as some kind of common connection. And so, what I would do is I'd go in that Facebook group and, find agents that are, making some kind of a post about something that I think I want to chime in on, but maybe instead of chiming in on it in the comments, I'll send them a message and I'll say, hey, that was a great post. This is my feedback on it, or these are my thoughts, or, I'm actually wondering the same thing. I'd love it if you could share the answer with me, if you find the answer, right? Like, just ask for help or provide help. Like, people love to give help if you ask for it. And if you give them, value, then of course that's great too. So those are great ways that you can create connections, and you can just constantly do that all day long. Just go through the groups, find messages, find different people that you can message, and go that way. You can create a post asking for great agents in X area, right? Like, don't say you got a referral or anything like that, but just say, hey, put it in a Facebook group. You could, do it in Lab Coat Agents. You could put it in, wherever groups you're a part of as a real estate agent, and just say like, hey, who's the best agent in this area, right? That's all you're saying. You're not saying I've got a referral or anything like that. You're just saying who's the best agent. And you'll get tons of responses where people will message the name of the person they know that's maybe in that area, right? You might get 15 names, you might get 50 names, like depending on what area it is. If you say in Dallas, Texas, you're going to get tons of names, right? And then what you do is then you can use that as the triangle of trust and be like, hey, once you do reach out to that person that was named, you can say, this person, so-and-so, put your name in this Facebook group, said you're a great agent. I'm looking to expand my business, blah, 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 blah. You go back to the scripts, that we talked about her earlier. You start the conversation with them, then you use message number 2 where you ask them if they're open. All right, LinkedIn search. You can obviously search for people on LinkedIn. You can search for them in certain areas. You can search for them by certain brokerages. All that stuff on LinkedIn. Instagram hashtags. Basically, at this point, what I always say to people, because I know if you're a new agent, especially getting started with agent attraction, a lot of people say like, I can't attract agents. Like I've never done that, or I'm not comfortable with that. And to be honest with you, now I've done this for a little over 2 years. Plus I did a little bit more too when I had an independent brokerage. But honestly, I feel like attracting agents is easier than helping, to buyers and sellers, like getting your sales business up and going. And the reason why that is you can easily find people that are realtors, right? Like they're not shy. Like if they're a good realtor, they need to be out there online, right? So they're going to be on LinkedIn, they're going to be on Facebook, and you can identify who's a realtor and who's not with EXP yet. So there's all your opportunities. With buyers and sellers, it's a little bit harder, right? Like you don't know who's buying a house in the next 3 months. Now everybody's potentially buying a home, but unless you're just going to start friending people and connecting with them for the next 10 years until they buy a house, like it's a really hard thing to identify buyers and sellers, whereas you can identify realtors a lot easier. So there's no shortage of realtors. That's not the problem in this business. It's just a matter of, doing this type of work over and over, getting good at it. And again, just providing value, sifting through the deck, and just, categorizing people, making sure you don't forget who they are, and just following back up, right? We all know that it's about follow-up. So if they're not open right now, try it again in 3 months, try it again in 6 months. But you're going to be building connections all the time. So you're going to have people that might not be ready right away. You're going to have some people that are ready right away. But what's going to happen is 3 months in, 6 months in, you're going to be finding people that are ready right away. And you're going to be having people that were ready, that weren't ready 3 or 6 months ago, but now they are. So that's when it gets really exciting. All right. So anyways, that's kind of it, guys. You can connect with me again through my social media channels. Go to my website. I got a lot of training on there. But that's it. If you got more questions, put them in the comments below right now. If you're watching on YouTube, please put a like on there. I'd love to see. I don't know. I'm going to check my comments right now and see where all the feedback is coming from, if it's Facebook or YouTube. But one thing for you guys to note, because whether you're watching the Monday Masterminds or the Tuesday Masterminds, YouTube actually has a little bit higher quality as far as what the feed goes out. Facebook kind of restricts how much bandwidth can go towards that platform. So if you want to watch this in the best quality possible, check out my YouTube page. For the Tuesday Mastermind, it's on my YouTube page called Agent Attractors. Just search YouTube for Agent Attractors. And you can watch the live streams on there, and you can watch all of the past recordings of these Tuesday Masterminds on that YouTube channel, all for free. They're all public. You can share them with your organization. But either way, just make sure that you subscribe. You can actually hit the bell notification, because if you hit the bell notification, you're going to get a little message anytime I go live, which will of course always be Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Central. But also, now that I've got this streaming setup kind of going, I plan to go live more often, kind of randomly. So make sure that you hit that bell notification, make sure you subscribe, and then whenever I do go live, you're either going to get an email or you're going to get a little badge icon on the YouTube app letting you know that I'm going live. And then of course you can watch all of the past recordings. So moving forward, this is how it's going to kind of be. We're going to be putting it live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I do have plans to have co-hosts and to have interviews where we can bring them on the screen with me. And, and kind of have, multiple input that way. But at this point, the best way to provide your feedback, the best way to ask questions is put it in the comments and the chat below. And like I say, right now I'm going to get into it and start looking and seeing if we have any questions and going from there. So give me 1 second here. Looking here and yeah, there we go. All right, here we go. So starting with Facebook. Thanks for all you do. Hey, no problem, Brianna. Carlos, awesome to hear from you. Thanks for sharing it. All right, this is awesome. Fail forward, absolutely. Awesome information. Glad I could help, Carlos. Tom, that's right. Thanks for reminding everybody. Tonight is the Tuesday Executive Overview. If you've never been to a Tuesday Executive Overview, make sure that you come on to it tonight, even if you have a guest or you don't, just to see how we present the model, right? And then start using that as part of your attraction plan to start attracting agents to the company. Get them to the Tuesday Executive Overview. It's from 5 o'clock Central Standard Time to 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. All you got to do is go to TuesdayExecutiveOverview.com. And you can sign up. You can sign your guest up, so they don't have to go to the link. You can actually sign them up, right? Like call them up, say, hey, I want you to join this webinar with me tonight to hear, what eXp Realty is all about. If you got people in your organization that really haven't been plugged into agent attraction and you just want to get them re-energized, invite them to it, right? Even if they're with eXp, it doesn't matter, but get them to the webinar, and it lasts for about an hour, and then Curtis and I host it together. We go over the business model. I actually give a demonstration of all of the tools. I share my screen so they can see eXp World firsthand. They can see KV Core firsthand. We go through all of the workplace, enterprise dashboard, all that good stuff. We go over it, and then the last 30 or after the call, after the hour, we spend about another 30 minutes doing testimonials, doing questions and answers. People can ask questions, and so anyways, that's going to be tonight at 5 o'clock. So I appreciate you chiming in on that. Tom, let's see, what else do we got, guys? Hey, Ian, good to see you, man. Great content. Appreciate it. What's up, Tony? Good to see you. All right. Well, I don't see any questions on Facebook yet. Oh, also, yeah, Tom, just so you guys know, if you can't make the Tuesday call, Tom does the exact same thing, but obviously with a different presenter. He presents himself on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So, and that's a great presentation, guys. Tom does an amazing job. If you've been to mine, but not his, go to his. Like, that way, if you do have a person that you're trying to attract, you can kind of know whose style they're going to like, maybe more, or just, being different, or maybe they just need to see it a different presenter talk about it. So yeah, you've got the Tuesday and the Sunday. All right, I'm going to swing over here to YouTube and see. All right, let's check here if we've got any messages on here. All right, cool. Prefer to use, yep. Marie prefers to utilize YouTube than Zooming. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I know, guys. I've had some comments and feedback about the Monday mastermind yesterday, and now so far today. And I do get a lot of people that say they like this new presentation format. I obviously know that I do kind of miss seeing people on the call, like face to face sometimes. But I know that typically the people that would actually come on and unmute themselves was getting less and less. And so I kind of opted to go for a higher quality production over that. But then again, when people do have something they want to share, or maybe you want to co-host with me, whatever that might be, I'm always open to that. So please don't ever hesitate to reach out. This is for all of us. But I just wanted to put it into this format so we can reach more people and get more people involved in seeing these broadcasts. And I think with them being a little higher quality, not just being on Zoom, I think it's going to help allow for that. So awesome. Is this video available instantly to go back and view? It absolutely is, Mario. You should be able to rewind and see it. I know you definitely can do it on my YouTube page. But also on Facebook, if you're watching it there in Team Disruptor, you're going to be able to see it again if you're a Team Disruptor member. So that's the thing. And that's why I like doing it on YouTube. Whereas when we were on Zoom, we weren't able to put it to YouTube right away. With it being streamed right now live to YouTube and Facebook, if you've got somebody you want to share this with, and maybe they're not with EXP, maybe they're not a member of Team Disruptor, then you just send them to my YouTube channel and they can watch this back, right? So that's the way that they can do that. All right, guys, cool. So that is about it there. I don't see any other questions in YouTube. All right, well, I'll do one more swing back over to Facebook and just make sure I didn't miss anything there. Looks like we're all set there. So guys, well, that's going to do it then. I'm going to call it for today. But I'm going to go spend some time now with my wife, who are celebrating again our 8-year anniversary. Super excited for that. But I will be here tonight for the Tuesday Executive Overview. I've got a dinner reservation afterwards, so I will be out of here right around 6 o'clock, 6:15 or so. But we're going to have also some other help as well. So if I've got a split, but people still have more questions, don't worry. There will be people here tonight. So, but yeah, myself and Curtis will be co-hosting for that first hour. And then I'm going to split shortly after that and go have a good dinner date. So anyways, guys, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate you being on these calls. I hope that, you find value in them, and I'll continue to keep, bringing this information to you guys. I'm actually excited because I think I'm going to look back and we may actually have all of the information I need to start building out that course, which is going to be kind of the Agent Attraction 101 course. So, if you want to go back and watch and take that course, feel free. But what I'm really building it out for is for all the new agents that we are going to be attracting, are going to have a free resource where they can go in and watch, 5 to 8, shorter versions of these videos. I'm going to cut through and kind of just get the meat of it and put them into like 5 to 8 short courses where at least they can get up and running with knowing what to do for agent attraction from day one. So that was the goal of these last few calls. I think we're getting to the end of it. I'm going to make sure we didn't miss anything.